Elodie, get the fuck out of the way! Move, Elodie! Move!
I need to see just like the full actual shot though.
My check.
Pot of the dead. Pot of the dead. Pot of... Ladies, gentlemen, and other gamers, girls, and gamer girls, welcome to Pot of the Dead.
Pot of the Dead.
Round of applause for that intro right there.
Applause for the intro. So this is Pot of the Dead. This is our podcast where me and my good buddy Skylar here talk about Call of Duty Zombies.
Yes, sir.
We realized that we could talk about zombies at length, just like whenever we felt like it. So we were like, you know what? Let's put a camera there. Got a little light set up on it. We got the green screen. We got some props even. We got little shitty microphones, and we have a podcast. That's what that means. That's what those things mean.
Yeah, we are the white boys who had an interest in something and said, fuck it, let's record it. And now we're doing a podcast.
That's what podcasting usually is. So we're here, podcasting of the dead.
Yeah, both of us really fucking love zombies.
A lot.
Both of us, it's been super like influential in our lives. Him more so, I'd say, but both of us have had a pretty close relationship with it. So
yeah, so
we can talk a lot about it. We got a lot of hot takes, a lot of opinions and stuff for you in this podcast.
Take sizzling. Psst.
A lot of heat in this one. This is going to be a controversial podcast right here.
Controversial podcast.
Just wait until they hear
Women, real.
Man, I was just going to say, man, wait till they hear what I have to say about Origins, but then you just come in with that.
I like that. Women, real. They're real.
That's a good joke. Let's talk about ourselves for the podcast.
So we thought we'd give... And we're back. So we thought we'd give little intros about ourselves and like kind of like the way we came into zombies. And I have a bit of an interesting one. Not super interesting, but you know, a little bit. You know, it isn't just like I picked up a game and played it. So when I was like 4 or 5, I was born in the 2002. And my cousin, when I was like 5, was like, yo, my boy, I found this game. It's lit. Let's play it. This was World at War. We wanted to play Knock Darren Toten. So when I was like 5, I might have been 6 at this point, because World at War came out like 08. But he was like, we're going to play zombies. And this was like 12 years ago. And I was like, you know what? This game's kind of fun. And then I just kind of kept playing it. And then he got kind of crazy, and then there's a lot of drugs, and this is bad. But I was like, you know what's cool? Zombies. End of statement.
This one goes out to all
This one's with all the fans out there. I do your fucking thing.
Yeah, so I picked up the game and started playing it. Now we're here.
Yeah, and so that's a wonderful story. Now, however, what's relevant is that we are here and we had the ability to do this because we live together. Me and him are roommates now.
Yep.
And this has kind of come to fruition because back in 4th grade, me and him, why are you doing that? And him, I don't know.
I'm just looking at you. I'm just trying to...
Okay, so back in 4th grade, me and him, we were like an ice cream social at our school. I was like, dang, bro, none of my close friends are here. I'll talk to this guy. And then he was like, I've been playing this game over the summer. It's Call of Duty Black Ops. And I was like, yo, word?
Ayo?
Me too. Because I've also
Ayo?
been playing that. And I was like, so what
Ayo?
have you been playing on? He's like, this game all called Zombies. And I was like, ain't no way. Me too.
That's crazy.
Ain't no way. And then so we kind of just kept rolling with that. And we were like, we should like hang out and play zombies. And then we moved in together. And that is...
There was no in between. It was, we played zombies together, and then we moved in.
And then we moved in. Well, yeah, obviously there was in between, but yeah, that's essentially how it happened. We were like kind of like, hey, like 3rd tier kind of friends, like the tier where, you know, like the kids...
Like friends, but like almost acquaintance tier.
The kids who you would invite to your party in elementary school, but only because you were inviting like 20 people.
Yeah.
If you were inviting 10, they might not make that cut. But
Yeah.
then we were like, yo, zombies, Kino is pretty cool. Let's play zombies. And now we know Kino is less cool.
That's true. That's one of the
Less
hot
cool.
takes right there.
Hot take.
Controversial opinion. I don't
Sizzling.
think that one's that hot of a take anymore. I think most
think
people
it-
kind of
it
vibe with like.
It used to be a hot take.
I mean, it used to be. Nowadays, people kind of just are like, yeah, Kino was kind of a mid map. It's fine.
I'd make the case that when that opinion started kind of like coming out, it was like one of the hottest takes.
Oh yeah, because it's nostalgia. People absolutely love
Kino
Kino.
was beloved.
I still Kino has a special place in my heart. I love the map.
Kino's still a good map. It's not bad. I think that there's very few zombie maps that are actually bad that
Oh, yeah, of course.
that I would not go back and play. But Kino is good. It's
Yeah.
just Derice but on disc.
Yeah,
And less good because it's the second one.
yeah.
And yeah. But so that's our little intro. So we thought we'd kind of give some like base opinions, like what's the best map, what's the worst map, what's the most overrated, what's the most underrated kind of map.
Yeah, because for this podcast, our kind of basic like idea that we have is a lot of it's going to be just like discussion and like a back and forth on like opinions and thoughts.
Yeah.
Given like our hot takes, kind of discussing why we think some things about zombies.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that, because that's usually how our discussions go. We'll just be like, hey, Shang's a pretty cool map.
Shang's pretty cool.
Shang's got some neat stuff on it. It's a
Cool map.
arguably underrated a little
Or
bit.
it'd be underrated. I wouldn't even say a little. I'd say a solid bit. I
Yeah.
think people
I think-
people put it like 2 tiers too low in my.
I think recently it's gotten bumped up in perception a little
Yeah.
bit. Like people look back on it and go,
Listen,
a cool map.
I was ahead of the curve though. I fucked with
Yeah.
Shang way back. But so we thought we'd give like best, worst, overrated, underrated, and I'll let you go first. What's the best map of all time, Sky?
Mob of the Dead.
Good map.
Which our podcast is named after.
Pot of the
Rightly
Dead.
so, because it's a great map, it's a great name.
Pot of the Dead cast.
Pot of the Dead.
Pot of the Dead.
Pot of the Dead.
What's the worst map?
The worst map.
I don't think I've actually ever had you answer that question before. We've kind of floated around some names, but I don't think I've ever had you actually answer what's the worst map in zombies.
I see the problem with that for me
Also-
is that there are some maps that I just don't have enough experience on that
Also,
probably would
let's-
end up there.
Let's keep most things there. When we're talking the worst maps, I think we speak only in regards to Treyarch, or,
Yeah.
or when we're putting things in like a tier list ranking basis. But when we're putting things like a tier list ranking basis, we're only talking about Treyarch, and because we're good humans, we don't include BO4. It didn't happen. We don't include BO4.
Yeah, now at some point I'm sure we are gonna like go through, play some of
Yeah.
the non-Treyarch stuff, play through some of the BO4
Yeah.
maps.
Things that we talked about, when we're talking in a more general basis on what's the best map, Blood isn't in that conversation.
Yeah,
What's
I
the
will
worst
say,
map? It isn't there.
I do think it would be fun at some point for some of the future podcasts to be like, we played Infinite Warfare, like for the week in between, like we go through, just play all the maps,
Yeah.
and then give like our overall thoughts, and then we can like
I'm down with
add
that.
those to the discussion.
down.
That seems like it could be fun. As of
Yeah.
right now,
But as of right
we
now,
do not have experience
it
with
is-
non-Treyarch stuff.
It is World at War. It is BO1, BO2, BO3, and Cold War.
Yep.
That is what I kind of put in my tier lists because BO4 didn't happen actually, and I only know Treyarch. That isn't true. I actually know a solid bit about other things, but Treyarch is the one that I think about. So, but then yeah. So what's the worst map?
The worst map of the ones that I've played, like that I've actually put a solid amount of time into, it's probably just Transit. Just like because I haven't played stuff like Die Rise or like Moon a whole lot. Haven't put a whole lot of time into those.
Okay. So your final answer is Transit.
Of the ones that I've played extensively, I think it probably would end up having to be Transit.
I'll say I feel like we probably should put more like reasoning with it. We should be like, this is the best map. Here's why. Or maybe we
Yeah,
can,
I mean
maybe- or maybe
we'll go into
maybe-
detail in that in a little bit. That'll be we'll discuss that more.
Or we can later date, whatever. Okay,
Yeah.
Most overrated map of all time.
Kino's up there.
Kino's probably up there.
Kino's up there.
Still.
Kino is pretty overrated.
Even as
Now,
the
I will
time
say-
is going on where everyone kind of like is pulled back
Yeah.
with that opinion, like casuals still exist, and
Yep.
casuals will almost always put Kino at the top.
Yeah, of course.
Purely because
'Cause
it's easy map. It's
also, for a lot of people, it's probably one of the only maps they've played because it was
it-
on disc.
it's on disc. That's incredibly relevant. because like it's the same thing as Darius. I think Darius is a much better map than Kino, especially because it came first. It introduced all the ideas, which just gives it a level up. It's just
Yeah, of course.
it did those better because it did it first, and then Kino probably just does things a little bit worse.
I think so, ever so slightly.
Ever so slightly worse.
I do personally like the setting of Kino a little bit more.
Yeah, because it's a bit more unique as a theater. It's actually a thing.
The set, yeah, like a Theater of the Damned, the stage is an iconic area. All of the
iconic.
aspects of the map. Going outside in the daytime in the alleyway was super
Yeah.
cool.
But so even with that being the opinion that it is a little bit overrated.
Yeah.
Casuals will still put it number one.
Yeah.
A lot of
Now,
casuals will still put it number one, and when I'd put it like BC range,
yeah. Now, I will say, adding on to overrated maps,
overrated.
Kino was the first one that came to mind because we were just talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
But the other one that comes to mind,
Shut up,
Origins.
dear God.
Origins. Extremely overrated in my opinion. I do not vibe with Origins. That's one of the hottest takes you'll hear on this podcast. I don't fuck with Origins. I don't know what it is exactly. There are a few things.
Cold takes, and then it's gonna be you.
There are some like things that I can point to that I don't like, but a lot of it is just like I don't mess with the vibe. I don't find it super cool. But yeah, I think that Origins is quite overrated.
You suck. You suck, and that's the end of the sentence.
Your turn.
Underrated.
Never mind.
Scott can't count to 4.
I didn't know there was going to be 4 things. I guess it makes sense in hindsight, but I wasn't thinking about it.
You fool. Okay, underrated.
Underrated. Well, I would argue that in a lot of in a lot of respects, I think Shadows can be kind of underrated. Shadows of Evil, because there are a lot of people who like never gave the map another chance after it first came out in kind of a bad state, I would say. And a lot of people just like don't get behind the map. But I think it's pretty underrated because it's a super unique setting, really pretty looking map, really nice,
Fucking gorgeous. It's just amazing.
sick ass wonder weapon. It is the number 2 zombies map in my opinion. Other stuff that's underrated. You've got stuff like Shang, which we mentioned. Did we mention that in this take?
No, not in this take. We mentioned it earlier when we were like, here's hot takes. Shang underrated.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Brought it up in.
Yeah, we've done a few takes already. This has not gone perfectly smoothly.
I was in this take
What?
talking about Shang.
Yeah.
Moving
Well,
on.
I mean, yeah, but I was saying that just because I mentioned like other takes.
Okay, whatever. Continue.
What other stuff is underrated?
I've got a couple of things, but I'm gonna wait for my turn to say those.
All right. I mean, we'll just leave it at that then for now.
So your choice
Because
is-
I
your
can't think
choice
of
is-
any. I can't think of any others that are like
So is your choice Shang or Shadows?
probably Shadows. Because I think Shadows is like the second best map, and there are a lot of people who think it's a bad map.
Okay. So picking back on for that, the best map of all time is Shadows of Evil.
Yes, that is.
I think it is the zombies personification of perfection. Because it is. I'm even this. I've never been a big guy for like looks. I don't care what a game looks like as long as it kind of works. However, I'm not into 8-bit very much. I'm not like 8-bit kind of shit. I'm not big on that. However, if a thing looks like I enjoy the aesthetic of most games, just to take it as the aesthetic of that game. However, Shadows is the best looking map, save for BO3 Shang. I think BO3 Shang is gorgeous and is better than Shadows. However, Shadows I think is the best original map in terms of that. Has the best weapon. The high round strategy is amazing. Everything flows really well. It's just great. It's just great. It's so good. It's so good. I love Shadows. I put Shadows at 1. You put Shadows at 2. You
Yep.
got Mob at 1. I got Mob at 2. Mob is very good.
Very similar maps in a lot of ways.
They're very similar.
They're both like very unique in their location. They have a unique cast of characters. They've got similar mechanics in the Afterlife and Beast mode. I do think that Shadows kind of like took what the Afterlife was trying to do and kind of perfected the system.
I agree. It's
Like I think that
it's-
Beast mode is better than Afterlife.
yeah.
I still like Afterlife more.
whatever.
I like being a little lightning boy.
Shut the fuck up. But so
So hostile.
I've never been hostile before.
He's never been mean to me. We're actually like
We've never been.
we're actually really wholesome friends here on this show.
Okay, so you suck. So the worst map of all time. My opinion, I usually have are very strong. I feel very strongly about most of my opinions. I hate Moon so much. I think Moon is so unbearably terrible. It is. I hate very few maps. Very few being maybe even just one. I might just only dislike Moon.
Exclusively Moon.
Exclusively Moon. Fuck Moon. It's not good. It's just bad. It has, like, the excavators are the worst thing in zombies. In my opinion, outright, I do not care. Excavators are the worst thing.
I'm trying to think of other stuff that could be worse.
Denizens, I don't care. The bus on transit, don't care. The pack punch on transit, don't care. Excavators are worse.
How about the elevators?
On Die-Rise?
Yeah.
I fuck with elevators in Die-Rise.
Really?
Really.
That's like one of the worst aspects of the map.
I kind of mess with it. I think it provides, like, you have to, like, desperation.
I guess so.
I'm a fan of that specifically. Like, a lot of people don't like, and it kind of takes people out of control in games. But I don't entirely agree with that being bad. I kind of enjoy being taken out of control in games when, like, you have, you could fuck up, and it sucks. But I like having to fucking run for the elevators and get there in time.
I guess it does add like an extra level of like pressure to the match and a little bit of like
that's it, pressure. I like the addition of pressure in games.
Yeah, I think a lot of people just don't like it because it feels very like different, first of all, and also just like it can feel unfair when like the game just changes shit on you every match and you're just like, okay, gotta wait for the elevator, doesn't have the perk I need in it, gotta go check all the other elevators.
I don't know, I never minded that because it always felt like kind of like a bit of a game, trying to see where everything goes.
Yeah, but I guess so. I guess, see, this is one of the areas where I kind of like fall out a little bit because I haven't actually played a whole lot of Die-Rise, and by a whole lot I mean I've maybe done like 5 total matches on the map.
Yes, and that's where our comparison isn't very similar, is that with everything BO3 and before, I have played so many hours of. I have probably 10 plus hours on every map, save for maybe Verrückt or Shinonuma. I've got 10 plus on every map because that's like Zombies is the game that I played when I was younger, and I just sat there in my room just doing nothing and playing zombies, and because of that I know that Moon is the worst map. It's worthless. Area 51 is really cool, the hacker is really cool, the Easter egg's really cool. I personally never really messed with the wave gun. It was never my thing. And
that's why we've got one coming.
We have one on the way. We ordered one. Yeah. See. Yeah. Also, we have props here.
Yeah.
I pretty sure about that. We got a summoning key, a ray gun, and then we have a Chronorium that Mac made.
Yeah.
Mac's my girlfriend. She's very nice. I like her. She made the Chronorium.
Yeah.
End of statement. So. Overrated, in my opinion. Most overrated. I think I could probably put Moon there because I think a lot of people don't hate Moon.
A lot of people really fuck with Moon. A lot of people like Moon a lot.
However, I'm not in that game. I feel like it feels different to me, in the same way that what was I saying? Like putting Shadows is the most underrated map. I am not like that opinion isn't exactly where I stand. Like I think putting anything in the S or the F tier shouldn't go with over or underrated, because that's just like a strong opinion that I have on that thing. That's how I feel personally.
I still, even with that, I think Shadows is a little underrated, since a lot of people think it's like actively a bad map.
I mean, yeah, but I'm not with doing that. So I think I might just end up putting Kino there. Maybe Ascension. I don't know.
I think Ascension is fair. I like Ascension for what it is.
I think Ascension's fine. I don't know.
I think it's very much like just the simple BO1 map. It's the quintessential hop in for a casual game of zombies type map.
You know what? I'm gonna say something. Nothing I said before.
Okay.
This is not something we talked about.
This is new content for you and for me. What he's about to say here.
I'm trying to decide whether I actually believe that or not. I'm trying to figure it out.
Mob of the Dead is overrated.
Buried.
Overrated?
Overrated.
Really?
Buried. I don't like Buried very much. I find myself going back and playing a lot of maps as of late. I don't do that with Buried.
That's interesting.
I don't like Buried very much. I think it's a cool setting. The Paralyzer is really cool. Witches are cool. Like the Time Bomb.
That's a neat one, a neat little wonder gadget.
And, I mean, that's about it for me.
Not even Leroy?
Not even Leroy.
Really? Leroy's so cool. What do you mean?
Leroy always felt very clunky to me. And I never
yeah, he's
really,
not perfect, but
and
he's trying his best, man.
He's trying his best.
Listen, he's a recovering alcoholic.
I wouldn't. He isn't recovering. You show up and you go, and he's like,
he's not.
Oh, thank you, God.
He's not recovering after we show up.
After
Misty pops in, titties and beer. Leroy's gone.
The beer donkadonks, as they say. But no, I think Buried. I don't know. Buried's real mid to me. I don't know, the more I think about it, like I'm kind of like in the B, C tier range. Maybe even D? I don't know.
No, it's not D tier. No.
Maybe even. Maybe.
Listen, that's a step too far. B, C, I get it. I understand. D tier is too far for Buried. It's not that bad.
I don't know. It's Buried's kind of whack to me. And when I see very few people talking about shit, even though I'm not very like hooked up to shit still, I see pods that talk about Buried, and I don't really get it.
I got to kind of disagree with you here.
I kind of don't get it. I don't get it.
I kind of disagree with you here. I think Buried has a lot of cool, good stuff going for it.
I'm just not with it.
I think Buried has a lot of like little unique things. You've got stuff like even small stuff like the LSAT wall by in the spawn room. That's super cool.
The LSAT wall by is still really cool.
The whole this whole spawn area is really cool. The area that you can't get to once you leave, except with like the special teleport.
But I do think that it suffers a lot from the issue just with the Victus maps. Is that Victus is mid.
I mean, I guess so. Yeah.
And that like
they were better in Buried.
They were better in Buried. Buried is better than Die Rise and Transit. However, I think it's still below mid.
I don't know. See, there's a lot of other stuff in Buried too. Like you said, the Paralyzer. Like honestly, the Paralyzer, just for like the options and the mobility and the way the map is designed around it, I really fuck with that. I think it's really cool being able to just like fly around, get to places. There's a bunch of like holes and stuff in the map. Leroy's really cool. The like candy and the booze, you can have them open doors for you, lock down the box. Bunch of small stuff. Hold on to zombies for you. Grab a crawler. That's really cool. A bunch of stuff like that. The chalk. Vulturate is a really cool perk.
I also think that, like, for me a little bit, Buried's too easy. It's too easy.
That I get. That is fair, because Buried's
really easy. Because I think that, like, in a lot of the ways, like, BO3 is really easy, but Buried is easy in a way that the rest of BO3 isn't. Like, Buried is too easy of an experience, in which, like, dying, like, getting caught on Buried is hard.
That is true, I guess.
Things going wrong does not happen on Buried. In every other game, shit can go wrong. Like I'm going to use my example of Shadows. Margwa shows up, you can get fucked up by the Margwa.
That is true,
yeah. Margwa can fuck you up. You cannot get fucked up on Buried. On every other map, not every other map, but on a lot of other maps, you can get fucked up. Someone can come in and beat the shit out of you and you're out. On Buried, that cannot happen. Even on Revelation, which is even Revelation is easier than Buried. I'm not gonna make the point. That's stupid to make. However, on Rev, you can still get fucked up.
Get caught off guard by the fire panzer. He can just like do his ranged attack.
Yeah,
destroy you.
On either with the panzer or the Margwa, either of those guys can fuck you right up, and you're done.
Yeah,
you're cooked.
That is true. That's something I didn't think about. Buried doesn't have that thing that can get you.
Like, because even on Revelations, when those guys are there, you have to be in. You cannot be kind of locked out of the game.
Yeah, I get that is true. Because just about every map has something like that.
Yeah, on Shang, you have to fire the napalm zombies. They can just blow up and you're done. And then like on a lot of like, just like the older maps, you can just get beat up like real quick.
Yeah, a lot of like tight areas and stuff. With Buried, with the mobility, as cool as that is, I guess it does give you the ability to just like. Also, the paralyzer, like slowing zombies down, gives you so much time to escape. Also, the time bomb. If shit goes like really haywire, you can just.
You never. I never feel engaged playing Buried. You never have.
I guess that's true.
You never have to worry about anything going wrong because even on things that can go wrong, you got Leroy. Leroy can hold onto a zombie for you. Leroy can lock down the box. You don't have to go to some awkward area to hit the.
And we're back.
But yeah, so I don't remember if we were saying this at that point. I think I checked a few minutes ago and it was back on, or it was still going. But Buried isn't very engaging. You are never at a level of discomfort on Buried, and that's my issue. You are always comfortable on Buried. Even the witches could fuck you up, but they can't because they take your points first.
Yeah, and then even then, it's like they only exist if you go through the haunted house.
They only exist if you go through that, and but then the idea of the paralyzer not working on them is cool, but it doesn't matter because they take your points first.
The witches, I think, would be cool if they spawned in as like a special enemy.
Yeah, like a dog round and it was witches and they took your points. Cool.
Or yeah, if they spawned in like with regular zombies as well.
But just going through there, either way. But it just
I think it would be cooler if they spawned in with regular zombies because then during the normal rounds, it's like
you have to watch out. You have to continue to stay locked in, otherwise you lose your shit.
Yeah, make it so that you can kill them pretty easily. Make it so that bullet guns will take them out, but then you put yourself at risk of getting caught out by the zombies. If you have the paralyzer out, they can just fly through the zombies, come at you, take your points and get you. You can't slow them down with the paralyzer.
But that isn't how it is in the game, and Buried is just never engaging, and that is why I'm making the call that Buried is the most overrated map ever. And that is the end of my statement.
I don't know. Even after all that, I don't know if I would agree with it being the most overrated. I do get your perspective on it now. I understand why you think it's kind of like mid. I still disagree a little bit, but I do understand.
All right.
I don't think it's the most overrated still, even by like those standards, personally.
All right, now I gotta go to underrated.
Yep.
I got a couple of calls on underrated. If you want to say shadows, you can say shadows, but yeah. I just, it feels different in my head, at least. It feels like a different kind of thing.
Mob of the Dead is the most underrated map of all time.
But I think Shang has a case, because I've got Shang in A. I've seen Shang in D or C tier.
Which is just unfair.
And the same goes for 5. I think 5 is also...
That's true, I forgot about 5.
Because I think 5 has everything with Shang, and I think 5 has a better setting. I really enjoy the setting of 5. I think it's really cool.
I think that 5 misses out on one thing, which is an interesting wonder weapon.
I agree.
Which, I don't know, it's hard to say. I do think that the setting of 5 is cooler, the visuals of Shang are better.
And here's something that I just thought about. Mm-hmm. I think 5 gets kind of fucked over because they put the Winter's Howl into Verrucht.
How does that fuck over 5?
Because I think the Winter's Howl, even though Winter's Howl isn't very good, to me at least, it doesn't feel unique to 5, even though it is. Because it's in Verrucht, which is in the same game, it doesn't feel like it's a 5 thing. When in Call of the Dead, the Scavenger, which also isn't a very good wonder weapon, as cool as it isn't very good.
Yeah, of course.
Does feel unique because it's Call of the Dead's thing.
That's true, yeah. I do also think it just got fucked over by being a dog shit wonder weapon.
It's not good. I'm not saying it's good, but
of course, yeah. Listen, if they had like just do what they did with it in BO4. I know we said it doesn't exist, but like I played a little bit of it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You're talking about a game like it's like Black Ops, but it doesn't exist.
Black Ops 1, 2, 3, Cold War. But yeah, so those are 2 candidates. I think the candidate that I will go for. Also, I forgot overrated, Crovey.
That's true. We forgot about Crovey.
I forgot that Crovey existed because Crovey's overrated. It's cool. I'd argue is one of the coolest maps.
That's true. Just with like the dragons and shit.
On the
just all
sake
the
of,
stuff.
on the sense of what is cool, Krovi's at bare minimum up there.
Yeah.
But I think that it just doesn't really work for me.
This is an opinion that we share. After we tried to do the Easter egg together and failed many attempts because
we're not bad.
Yeah, we're not bad as we're not like the greatest players.
We're not gods, but we're not bad.
But the Krovy Easter egg is just like,
and primarily the bomb step. Fuck the bomb step.
The bomb step is terrible, and it just feels like it's just not fun. It doesn't feel like challenging in a fair way a lot of the time.
Because that's the thing. Is there's tension. If they wanted to go for tension and purely tension, I feel so nervous during that step. But when it happens, I don't feel like I've done something. I feel like I've gotten through it. You know?
Yeah.
I don't feel like I've accomplished anything. And then also, they just have them figuring out the what was the step with the whoop and the numbers and shit with the little guy like they have at like pharmacies and shit. Where, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, fuck that step. The like pipe step.
The pipe step is easy and clean now. But
yeah.
When they discovered that thing was terrible, and the boss fight is like easily kind of get aroundable. But I think I'm gonna stick with overrated on Barry because I like the points that I made. But underrated, my call might be Zetsubo.
That is yeah. You do really fuck with Zetsubo.
I messed with Zetsubo. I think Zetsubo's really cool. I think the KT4's mid.
KT4 is like.
I like it personally, but it's mid.
I think it's probably the worst wonder weapon in BO3, unless I'm forgetting an obvious
the Mark
thing. Oh, the Mark III is absolutely better than the KT4.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
The Mark III doesn't infinite kill. The KT4 does.
I know, but the Mark.
End of statement.
I mean, yeah, but like. Mark III is cooler though.
It's cool.
Also, it can still kill into like the 50s or 60s, and past that point, you're not going to be using the KT4 anyway.
Yeah, but you can if you want to.
I mean, you can, but then you're going to use it for.
I play.
Also, no, the Mark III is also more useful because it can still slow the zombies. It still has the slow effect, which while it's not great, is a utility that it has.
Yeah, I don't care.
I would argue that is better than the KT4.
I think they're both not very good, but the KT4.
I mean, yeah, they're both not great, but I think the Mark III is a little better personally. As like just like with the utility.
So
obviously, also disregarding like the plants.
Yeah, but also don't disregard the plants because it's relevant.
That is.
But also,
yeah.
so I have played less like top tier zombies than you have. When you think of how good something is, you think of top tier. You know.
I guess so.
I have played. Zetsubo is a map that I go back to fairly often, usually because the Easter egg is so easy. It's so easy. But so I'd gone back and then I remember playing with some of my friends back when it came out. I played it with my cousin when we did it, and the reason we could play that map is because of the KT4, because we could sit in a corner and shoot the KT4 on the ground. And that boy would hold. The ray gun cannot do that.
I mean, it probably still could at the rounds you were playing at. Though.
I was on round 64.
That's not possible.
I'm playing with my friend Magnemite.
I think at 64 the Mark III would probably like.
But it doesn't. Okay, here's also relevant. The situations that you're in with that gun. The one of the reasons why the baby gun is one of the best wonder weapons of all time, although I think it's mildly overrated. But even though why it's one of the best wonder weapons of all time, is because of that single training spot where you have the long ass walkway.
I mean, I disagree with that though.
Where you can shoot down that walkway and run straight through them.
I mean, it's even without that, it's still a good wonder weapon.
I agree, it's a great wonder weapon, but one of the reasons why it's regarded as well as it is because of the viability in that spot.
I mean, I think it's...
And on Zetsubo, there are multiple spots, two that I can think of very specifically where you can do that with the KT4, and I cannot think of a spot to do that with the Mark III. I cannot think of a spot on Krovy that you can use the Mark III to hold your spot, hold down with the Mark III and the Mark III alone, like I did with the KT4.
I mean, I know a spot. It is. I do. It's I don't remember exactly what the location is called, but it's like one of the bridges from like the spawn building into like the other area. It's like the one that leads into like the infirmary, I think.
Okay.
You just leave the door closed and then you sit on the bridge. The door behind you is closed.
There's a little room and then it goes down. There's a little gumball machine.
I think it's the one with it's the room with Stam in it, I think, right? The like greenish one.
The Bernie boy dragon.
I mean, yeah, but if you're on the bridge, the dragon doesn't get you. I'm pretty sure.
No, I'm just saying that there's a dragon there.
Oh, I do. It is one of the dragon spots.
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
that's a spot that you can hold, and I've seen players camp with the Mark III into like at least the 50s.
Okay, well here's the thing you're not thinking about. You're wrong, and I'm not. So.
Yeah. Also, something else that's worth mentioning that I think just could go for pointing out. I'm someone who is a little bit more in tune with like high rounding and that side of the community.
I'm not.
I would not say I'm like very in tune with it. I like lurk in high rounder streams and stuff, so I see like some of the strats and know some of the
at all times you
stuff
have
like
a
that.
high round stream up.
I do, yeah.
High round or speed running. It amounts to the same thing.
It's similar. I will say I've been more into like the high round stuff than speed running. I don't know a whole lot about Easter egg running.
Yeah.
Other than just like stuff that I've seen out of the corner of my eye.
Yeah.
That is something I do. I just leave like high round gameplay open on my second monitor
at all times.
Twitch is constantly open. There's something going.
There is never a point in which that is not on. Or some Warzone shit at you, because we've been getting into Warzone a little bit lately.
Yeah, but this ain't a Warzone podcast.
This ain't a Warzone. This is not Warzone of the Dead. Pod of the Zone. This is Pod of the Dead.
Pod of the War.
Zone. Pod of the Dead.
Pod of the Dead.
Okay, so back to the point. My call for underrated is Zetsubo. I think it's very intricate, and I think things being intricate pushes people away.
That's true.
And I'm not with that, especially on how Zetsubo dropped.
Yeah, I will say I don't know.
Zetsubo on release is the worst map ever because it's just a buggy mess.
Yeah.
And
I mean, to be fair, you can say that about a lot of maps.
Yeah, but I don't care. Zetsubo is good. It is a upper B, lower A tier map.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Put it in the C to D range, I think.
Yeah, I think that's probably true.
And I got a hard disagree on that. So what were we saying before the camera running out of space rudely interrupted us?
I gotta be honest. No fucking clue.
I am pretty sure we were talking about how Crovey is the worst map in BO3. Fly Zapper, kill the fly. You love to see it.
I probably picked up.
Probably did. So we were talking about how Crovey's the worst map in BO3, because it is.
Yeah, out of the main DLC season, it starts with Shadows, second best map of all time, or first, depending on who you ask, or like a BC map if you ask some idiot.
Yeah. Fools, I would say. Fools.
Then you've got the Giant, which it's just Darius and BO3. It's fine.
But it also feels a little bit different to me.
It does. It is.
Feel.
It has randomized perks and stuff. It's a little bit different. Slightly different vibes.
I like the Giant.
Small little Easter eggs. It's a fun map. It's good for what it is.
Yeah. DE, which I'd argue is the fourth best map of all time. Mm-hmm. And you put it third because you suck.
Probably, yeah. DE's great though. Then you've got Zetsubo, which is Zetsubo.
Underrated, very underrated. Crovey, which has the argument for being the most overrated.
And then Revelations.
And then Rev, which is fine. It's fine.
It's a little mid, but...
It's mid, but it's fine.
Better than Crovey, I think.
Better than Crovey, because Crovey always doesn't feel right.
Crovey, in my opinion, doesn't feel super fun to play.
Crovey always gives it gives such a weird feeling to me. On that it's almost there. But it's...
Yeah, something about it just doesn't click.
It's like they released the version before the version they were supposed to release.
Yeah.
Everything feels a little bit off. To me. And you. Which is why it's the worst map of all time. Let me check our list of insane topics. Hot takes and let discussion ensue. Bullshit for an hour and call it a day. It hasn't been an hour.
Has it not? How long has it been?
I don't think it's been.
How long has it been that we've actually been recording?
However, this, because it's been a breaking convention, I think it's the perfect time to introduce our very first segment. Our first segment, I know. This week in zombies.
Oh yeah, we were gonna do. Oh yeah.
This week in zombies. The day of recording, it is currently Thursday, September 30th at 11:47 p.m. And what has happened today? It's been a kind of a big day.
Yeah, there was a little bit of gameplay release for the new Cold War map. There was some new
we had
in-game screenshots of the Wonder Weapon and stuff.
We had the
Got
season 6 reveal for Cold War, which also I believe I saw a Dalek tweet. We don't like Dalek in this house, but a Dalek tweet where he was like, "Yeah, this is the day. On this day last year, Cold War Zombies was revealed."
Cool.
So there's that.
Nice. PhD slider confirmed. That's gonna be so busted.
It will be crazy.
It's going to be insane. I'm excited to see what they do with the upgrades.
The way the War Machine's gonna function with that is
my god, the fucking War Machine.
Had you even thought of the War Machine yet?
I was thinking exclusively about the ray gun. Because the ray gun's already crazy. Like with PhD, you're going to be able to, with the ray gun, just
Hold on, let me try to get something.
Yeah, you're right.
And just kind of, as one would in like Ascension, probably.
Except this time, I would say way more overpowered because the ray gun can always like 3-shot, and then you can get ammo pickups from Mule Kick.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be crazy.
But I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't even thinking about that. When I saw PhD slider, or when I thought about the ramifications of that in game, I was thinking War Machine.
Yeah, the War. I don't know why I didn't think about it because that's like the high round meta thing.
Because that's exactly what I thought. Because even as out of tune and just kind of as not a high round guy as I am, I immediately thought, how will this affect the high rounds in Cold War? Because high rounds in Cold War, I'd argue, were the most interesting. I don't know if I'd argue.
What do you mean? How are they the most interesting?
They're some of the most interesting in zombies because, like, the way because in every map it's usually just like you do a thing because it always works and you keep doing that. When in Cold War, like, you can shoot the ray, like you shoot the ray gun.
You said most interesting, right?
Yeah, hear me out. Because you only have to do so much. Because there's no like fully insta-kill weapons really. You can rather than running in a circle and shooting the thunder gun, you can shoot zombies 3 times with the ray gun. Or you can pop Ring of Fire, and then for that period of time, you can kill the zombies in a shot. And just shit like that. And the way that we talked about kind of how Cold War is interesting and how the game is so inherently busted because all this shit is super overpowered. However, the balance of the game is that you can always get caught.
Yeah, that is something that Cold War does a really good job of. had to slip that in. Cold War does a good job of, like, once you get into like round 60 where the health is capped out, zombies are super sprinting, they can without armor 3 hit you. That shit is intense.
You can always get caught.
Yeah.
As overpowered as you are, you at all times are at risk of getting caught.
Yep. Here's what I will say to add on to what you're saying. In terms of high rounds for Cold War, I fully agree that they are some of the most interesting in terms of actually playing them.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of the like strategies and kind of like the mindset behind them and just like that aspect of it, they're the most boring high rounds of all zombies.
Yeah, but I'm purely talking about how interesting they are. Because, like, Shadows is my favorite high round. Because I think it flows super well. It uses the best one of all time. It uses maybe the best special weapon. I don't want to talk about it right now, but maybe the best special weapon. It's
up there.
Definitely has a case. And just the way that it flows, it just feels so right. It always feels so perfect on Shadows. And when that isn't how it functions in Cold War, Cold War feels more kind of clunky. Cold War's always felt more clunky to me.
Yeah, I guess so.
And
a
just,
little bit.
but, and while I don't think that's enjoyable necessarily, it's very interesting and how everything is less built on getting to a spot and shooting your gun. In Cold War, it's all about timing. I guess I kind of just explained timing and then said it's about timing in Cold War. But in Cold War, it is very much about more precise timing. Like, there's no way in Cold War to kind of buy yourself a moment, really. I guess you can like use equipment.
No, yeah, there are absolutely ways to buy yourself time. You've got all of the different equipment. You've got monkey bombs, decoys.
It's much different in Cold War.
Yeah.
I mean, in the way of like shadows. If you need to buy yourself a second, you can kind of lurch to the side while you're finishing.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I know what you mean.
While in Cold War, that isn't how it is. You have to, like, if the zombies get to you and you don't have like if you don't have full health and a war machine set up, you're very much fucked.
Yeah.
So you need to be there by that time or you're fucked.
Cold War is more of like a reactionary game,
It's more
I would
reactionary.
say. Because instead of like I would argue for the play experience that makes it better, but for like I guess the interest of it and like the skill ceiling, it's a little bit less interesting.
Yeah.
Cold War is really good for the casual player, but it's got a very low skill ceiling. That's what Cold War is.
You made it around 420, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and that shouldn't be a thing. And that's why it's not as good. However, I do find it very interesting because of how everything.
It's way more fun to play. It's very satisfying to play through Cold War rounds.
But yeah, but everything high rounds in Cold War need to be timed to perfection rather than like a full like level of skill. It's more about repetitive perfect timing, which you know very well.
Yes sir.
Yes sir. Miner's Haven.
Hell yeah.
But so back to the original thing on that slider coming in, the thought was how can that interact with the war machine? And that kind of then opens up the idea of the timing doesn't have to be as perfect anymore. You don't have to be as perfect in it because you have slider.
I mean, to be fair, it didn't really matter beforehand anyway. This just makes it a little bit easier.
In the regards of, as I was saying, your situation, you might you fuck something up. You don't buy the war machine. Like if you don't buy the war machine, if you're playing and you miss it and you buy something else on accident, you might be fucked. Because by the time that they get to you, you've like taken damage and you can't kill the zombies without hurting yourself with the war machine. However, with slider, you no longer have that problem.
Why not?
Because you can just shoot the war machine. Down, boom, everything's dead.
I mean, yeah, but why would you be buying a war machine if you have a war machine?
What? You're not understanding.
Yeah.
You run out of ammo in the war machine. I'm thinking Mauer or Totem.
Uh-huh.
My mind says that's what I'm thinking.
Yep,
you're running
that's
around.
Too. Yep.
You go, boom, you shoot all the zombies. You're out of the war machine. Mm-hmm. You go to buy another war machine. And you go, oh, fuck, and you buy the wrong thing. Mm-hmm. And then you have to tab back in, buy the war machine again, and by the time you buy the war machine again, sometimes you're a little bit too close. And you don't really have all the time that you need to effectively rev up the war machine and then, I mean kind of just like the animation.
Yep.
And then kill the zombies before they do enough damage to you, the war machine will kill you. However, that problem is no longer there because you have slider. And the distance of the zombies to you is no longer relevant. Because you shoot the war machine, doesn't matter where you shoot it, it doesn't do any damage to you. That's my thought on that.
I mean, I guess
does
so.
That make sense?
It makes sense, but I also think that at that point, it's like, I don't think that's going to make a huge difference. I mean, I'm sure that at some point that will save someone, but I think that's like, there are other situations where I think it's going to be more prevalent. That's not like the first thing that I think of.
Also, it very much depends on how much damage it does. And also, because it's going to do other things.
I kind of expect... See, what I'm thinking with PhD Slider, there are one of two options. They're either going to make it a little bit more balanced, like, they're going to do what they did in BO4, where it does reduced explosive damage and not no explosive damage. Boom. Or the Tier 5 is going to heal you with explosive damage or some insane shit. They're just going to go in the fucking... in that direction and like break the game way more.
Now what's interesting though or that I'm thinking is interesting is that they have to add something, because half of PhD is already gone.
Yeah.
Stamina Up already has the fall damage half.
Yeah, that is true.
So they need to add something.
I'm super excited to see what they do with PhD, because there's a lot of stuff that they can do, and there's not a lot of stuff that they can do that won't be incredibly powerful.
And in the way of zombies, I've never had a problem with that. In games that aren't PvP based, I do not care how broken something is. Make something that entirely destroys the game. If you think it's too bad, then don't use it. You don't have to.
I mean, I will say there is like a counter to that where I forget what it's called, but like if there's something good there, like there's like the inclination to use it, or there's like the pressure to use it.
Yeah, but like you can, if you think PhD is too busted, if you're like, Jesus, if it heals you at tier 5, if you shoot the war machine to the ground and the damage it does to zombies is healed to you, and you're like, that is unfair, that makes this game not fun, don't use it. Simply don't buy the perk.
I do think there's a little bit more to it than that, but it's not really something I want to get into right now.
Obviously, if you're going for like if you're trying to set the world record, you buy PhD, because like you kind of have to, because like everyone else, you can't handicap yourself in that way. However, don't do that. Then you don't have. No one is making you do anything. I remember having this conversation when BO3 was announced. I remember where I was in my house talking to my friend Glowing Tunic about BO3 zombies and Gobblegums, and how Gobblegums could be too broken. And if Gobblegums are too broken, I was like, we just don't use them. Which is what I do. I don't use Power Vacuum. I don't use Near-Death Experience. I don't use Self-Medication. I don't use those because they're a bit too busted. They kind of take the risk out of the game.
Yeah, but I will say we do end up still using gums like all the raindrops and shit and all those, which I think are still pretty strong.
I mean, yeah, but like they're really strong. But I don't think they take any difficulty out of the game.
I mean, I definitely think they do. They like remove the progression.
Yes, but like Self-Medication doesn't do that. Power Vacuum makes the next 4 rounds free.
I guess that's true.
Near Death makes you impervious to dying. like as long as it doesn't, to me, impact your ability to die for a certain period of time, I don't mind it. Like progression based, I get, like Raindrops is busted, Perkaholic is busted.
Yeah.
But I don't mind them, because it just kind of, if you're like, I am trying to have a good time, I don't want to waste the next 3 hours hitting the Wonder Fizz because I want Widows. I just want to play zombies. I don't have to do that. Pop a Perkaholic at all. When having an experience is like, okay, so for the next 3 rounds, I won't die because Near-Death Experience said so. And that's how that works. So I don't use those. I circumvent some of the progression because it's boring. But when Raindrops and Perkaholic circumvent progression because it's kind of boring, while Near Death makes the game boring.
I mean, I guess so. There's more to this argument, I think, but I don't understand it enough to get into it.
We can flesh that out later today.
Yeah.
But yeah,
this is something that I do want to get into more later, but I don't have enough of the argument in my head right now to properly make it.
We can set one up and come back to it later.
Yeah. That's the plan. Next podcast, next podcast.
Something like that. But so yeah, This Week in Zombies on Thursday. Oh, it's not Thursday anymore. It's Friday. A new day. New day.
Jack, that's not a zombies thing. We can't reference that.
I don't care. So yeah, This Week in Zombies.
A lot of crazy. There's plenty more that's happening. The main thing is that season 6 also confirmed final season.
Yeah.
Surprising to no one.
By this time next week we'll have had the map, right? Right.
Probably.
Let me check it out. Let me checky and TV Addict it out. Sky, entertain them. Don't look at that. I was looking at porn. No, actually, we've hold on. Entertain them, Skylar. Don't sit here in silence. I don't want to cut this. I don't have to edit.
But we're gonna have to edit something anyway.
Shut up. Okay. So by this time next week, we will have played the map.
Yeah.
We will have a day with the map, so we can come back and give our thoughts.
That'll be fun. I will say.
Be most of the podcast.
I will say, Forsaken, new map, the setting, very cool.
I like the setting.
It is a great idea for like a map setting.
I think that bit in Cold War is so imposing.
Yeah.
However, I don't know if you're going to be outside of it very much. If you're inside of it, I don't know how imposing that's going to be.
I mean, it's not really imposing, but it's still just like a cool area to be in.
It's cool.
Like you will be outside because I'm pretty sure in the gameplay they do show you outside a little bit.
I haven't watched a whole lot of the gameplay. I just kind of watched a Milo video.
There is
toilet at work.
Yeah, all I know there is outside gameplay. I don't know how much or how prevalent it is, but it is there.
Yeah.
And then also just being in like the like retro kind of city area, kind of run down.
Yeah.
Where you're in like little American town, everything feels a little bit off. But now also there are zombies. That's just really cool.
Underground.
In
a western town.
Buried deep underground.
Buried
in a western
but
town.
yeah, so anything else happen? I don't.
Probably. There's probably a lot of relevant stuff, but
it's your job to keep up with world records.
All right.
I'm making that your job right now.
That, fair enough. I'm trying to think if there were any, like...
Every week, if a world record happens, I want you to come and I want you to write that shit down and go, Mob of the Dead, round 807.
Yeah, I'll make sure to, like...
I pulled up this mod pack that my friend showed me.
Yeah, I'll make sure to keep track of, like, world records and stuff and try and update when I can.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of, like... Oh, yeah, Kino. Kino world record got beat a little bit ago.
Yeah, that was
BO1 Kino.
It wasn't this week though.
It wasn't this week, but it was recent enough that I think it's worth mentioning.
Yeah.
Shout out to Slayer, or his name is typed out Sluya. But I'm pretty sure it's just Slayer.
Also,
he got 240 on Kino. Fucking crazy. He also was the first person to get around 250 on Black Ops 1 on Derice. Which is...
You were gonna say Kino? I was like, he did fucking what? How'd that happen?
Nope. No.
Bro, my boy broke the world record by 15 rounds. Goddamn.
No, he got to 240 on Kino, and then he's got a 250 on Derice, which is fucking insane.
That's insane.
So yeah, there's relevant stuff.
Anything else? I think that's it. For this week in zombies.
I think that's all we got.
All right.
I think we've been recording for quite a while.
I have one more thing. I got one more thing. I know we agree on it, but I just want to bring it up so we can say it.
Okay.
What is the best game in zombies?
Oh yeah, easy.
It's Black Ops 3. Shut up. It's Black Ops 3 and it isn't close.
You guys got trolled. It's Black Ops 3.
That's a joke for the fans out there.
It's for you.
That's for you.
We did this for you.
We did this for you.
You better appreciate it. They aren't appreciating it enough.
They're not appreciating it enough. But
Black Ops 3 is the best zombies game.
It's the best zombies game, and it isn't close. What did you do? Okay, it's the best zombies game, and it's not close. Because it provides everything. There is nothing BO3 doesn't provide.
Yeah, it's got casual maps, intermediate maps, crazy over-the-top maps like Zetsubo and Shadows.
And then it has the deep catalog with Chronicles.
Yeah,
Chronicles gives it the deepest catalog of any game.
Huge list of maps. You've got a progression system and customization. It's a little bit bare bones, but it is there.
It's a little bare bones, but it's there, and you can do it. And like getting to level 1,000, something that I always wanted to do, and I never did.
Yeah. So yeah, it's cool. Got a lot of stuff going. And
also, customs.
Yeah.
Customs have kept BO3 alive.
BO3 still gets played to this day. I would say more than any other zombies game.
Yeah.
Other than World at War before BO3 came out.
Yeah, and then BO3 came out and everyone was like, oh shit, we can do cooler things now.
Yeah.
And then Leviathan came out and it's somehow better than Moon. Like, it's crazy. But
I mean, Leviathan had, like, the gift of hindsight.
Yeah, so does your mom. And So moon shit.
that was
and
really out of
Leviathan's
pocket,
better.
man.
Put your mama in my pocket. Take her back home. Have my way with her.
We gotta stop.
I'm gonna cut this bit out. This bit isn't gonna be in because I said so.
It's funny though.
Are you gonna edit it?
I mean, are you? I don't know.
So I'm gonna edit it.
Okay.
Not a lot. I can do like hard cuts, but
I mean, yeah.
But yeah, so BO3 is the best one. It has the deepest catalog. It has something for every single player, and then it has custom, so it has infinite replayability.
Yeah.
And then the worst game is the next one, because BO4 is so bad. It's so bad.
I don't know how we went from BO3 to BO4.
I mean, the point that I brought up before, or just with you, is that Treyarch always defies expectations.
Yeah, I will say, I don't think I want to necessarily get into that discussion because I feel like...
Name of the time of the place?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Because we've been going for like... It feels like we've been going for probably longer than what we might think.
We'll see.
We're going to check and it'll be like an hour 45.
7 hours.
You check your phone, 6 a.m.
But yeah, so it's...
Oh my god!
But yeah, BO4 is the worst, BO3 is the best.
Yep.
And...
It's not really close.
It isn't close.
Cold War, I think, if it had more content, would have, like, maybe a case, but also it doesn't have, like, custom maps or anything, so it kind of, like...
We'll talk about this later. This is for the next one. We're going to keep this... We're going to pin this.
I think the gameplay system, the base of Cold War...
We're putting a pin in it.
Is really good.
And we'll talk about it next time.
That's fair. That's fine.
So, you do the intro, you do the outro.
Oh god, this is a lot of pressure. Alright, well, thank you guys for watching, assuming this makes it out to the internet. Again, might not. If you're watching this, you're very lucky, because we decided that it was somehow good enough to make it to YouTube and all the other platforms that podcasts go on.
Alright.
So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Bye.
Bye-bye, Pot of the Dead. Thanks for watching.
Dead.
We'll see you.
Pot of the Dead.
We'll see you next time.
Pot of the Dead.
Love you, all our loyal supporters that we're gonna have.
Pot of the Dead. Pot of the Dead.
Pot of the Dead. Pot of the Dead.
That's it.